Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a brand new discussion vlog. Got a great topic for discussion today, and this is just a subject that I've been really thinking about for the last couple of years. I've really seriously been thinking about this, though, the past couple of months, and it's just a topic that is really dear to my heart, and it's just something I've been thinking a lot about. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on today's discussion topic, but the topic for today's video is approaching the end of my collecting journey. So this is just something I've really seriously been thinking about the last couple of years, and really thinking a lot about this the last couple of months, where myself personally, I'm getting closer and closer to the end of my journey with collecting, and I want to eventually stop game collecting altogether one day, 100%. I'm getting really close to that, and there's just a few goals I want to finish this year and then be done with game collecting, and also even moving away from modern gaming completely and just focusing on the older consoles and stuff. I have a paper written down with some bullet points for myself just to remind myself so I don't forget something I want to talk about, but this is just a topic that I've really been thinking a lot about. I've been collecting for many years. I've been gaming since I was 4 years old with the regular Nintendo and the Mario Brothers, and I've been collecting video games ever since I was a kid. My parents would buy me stuff. I'd get some video games for birthdays and Christmases, and when I would earn an allowance, I would use that money to buy games. And then eventually I started working my own job. I started getting more video games and collecting them, but I really started getting hardcore into collecting video games after I got out of high school. Got your first real adult job and started earning adult money and living on my own. I really started building up the collection since then, and gone through different phases with my collecting, obviously, that a lot of us do when we start in this journey. It started out with just wanting to add games that I had missed out on as a kid, or to get a few of the games that I did sell off, which I did regret. Now, I'm somebody who really did not sell a lot of my games that I had as a kid. When the Super Nintendo came out, I didn't get rid of my regular Nintendo. I was the kid that kept the Nintendo because I still like playing, even though I had a lot of friends that are like, oh, why are you playing that old garbage? Play the new stuff, man. You got to play Super Nintendo. That's where it is. Or Sega Genesis. I kept the systems as I moved along with them, which is something that allowed me to have some great games in my collection because I didn't always sell them off. Now, there was a few that I would sell and trade off, but for a majority of my collection, I've actually kept them from over the years. So I still have my original Nintendo, my original Super, my Sega Genesis, the original Dreamcast that my brother and I bought, original Xbox, PlayStation 1 and 2. So I kept a lot of these consoles and did not sell them off that a lot of people did. And I was always the guy, so with my brother, we were always the people that were playing the old stuff while people were playing the new stuff. Now, we enjoyed playing the new stuff, but we also enjoyed playing the old stuff as well and playing the retro and stuff. And so there wasn't a lot of people like us at the time when we were growing up, people playing the older stuff and caring about it. It's not like today where, people love playing retro. It was, a lot of the kids and friends wanted to play the newest, hottest, greatest stuff. Who cares about that old shit? Play the great new stuff, don't play the old stuff. So I've always been into that. And so I started, collecting heavier and heavier after high school, and I really got heavy into collecting for the original Xbox, and that is actually a console that I own a complete North American set for, and I even got a whole bunch of variants. I started getting imports and stuff, and I've shared my journey with collecting, and I also talked about social media in that vlog about getting a little too addicted to the collecting aspect of it, and I eventually had to shy away from the hardcore collecting that I was doing, just picking up stuff left and right for all kinds of different consoles. And eventually I started working on paring down the collection and getting rid of games because I was just picking up stuff left and right and just crazy amount of stuff. And I eventually started working on downsizing the collection. And for me, I also don't want to be just collecting anymore forever. Just keep collecting. I'm almost 40, and I just don't see myself collecting beyond 9th gen. So PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles are going to be the last consoles I'm probably going to buy and support, as I just don't want to keep buying games consoles for the next 30 years. I don't want to be that 70-year-old guy and, all right, guys, I'm buying PlayStation 15 now. I just don't see myself wanting to spend the money on these consoles to keep buying games for consoles in the future when I have so many of my older games to play. I have a huge collection back here to keep me busy. Just on my Xbox 360 collection, I have like 650 games for the 360 alone. Like, that's enough games to keep me busy for years, and my original Xbox and all the other collections I have. So for me personally, I just have no need to just keep buying consoles, keep buying $500, $600 consoles and spending thousands of dollars on more games to play, especially with I keep finding less and less games for me personally to play on modern consoles, especially AAA games. There's just so many of them just feel so empty shells, or if they're a continuation of an older franchise, they just seem to be really boring, or they strip out a lot of content, or they're trying to push some kind of agenda in them, and I just find less and less games that I really thoroughly enjoy. We've got so many games that are tied to needing to be online to play them. Like, I found out that Gears Tactics game that I like cannot be played offline. It's a single player game, but if you want to play it, it have to be online to play that single player story. If you're not online connected to the internet, you can't even play it. So when that server eventually shuts down, that game is a useless disc. There's just a coaster, and so that sucks. And there's a lot of games like that, where you can't play them unless they're online. And then there's so many games are going to this digital-only route, like with Alan Wake 2 is digital-only, and there's been several other games released over the last few years that have just been digital-only, and I've always been a guy that loves my physical games. And so for me, there just really is no point. I'm not going to support that 100% digital future, and I obviously see that's where we're going. Microsoft really wants to push more with the Game Pass, and Sony's going to follow suit with that. I think Nintendo's going to be one of the last people that kind of hold on to their cartridges and their physical media, but even them eventually will. So I've come to terms with modern gaming and how I'm not the target audience anymore. It's for the younger generations, like my son and the generation coming after. They don't really care about owning these games, and they just want to play them. Like, they like their Fortnites and their multiplayer games. They're into the loot box stuff. They're into all that kind of stuff, where I'm not really into that. I love playing my old single player games now. I'm not into the multiplayer, but when I was younger, I loved the competitive multiplayer. I loved playing Mech Assault on the original Xbox, and I loved playing Halo 2. I loved playing Halo with local co-ops and parties and stuff. It was a fun time, but that time for me has passed, and now I'm more excited for playing my single player experiences. And I also just don't want to keep spending money on buying games, so that's why I see myself ending with modern gaming here in the next couple of years, just really moving away from it. And I'm pretty much done with my retro collection, so that's where I have a list down of all the different consoles I collect for, and what my plans are for those. And so, like, we start off here with any like the Atari stuff or ColecoVision, the super old consoles. I haven't collected stuff for that for years. I got a decent 40 or 50 games for the Atari 2600. I'm good with that. Don't need to collect any more for that. Regular Nintendo, I'm completely satisfied with that collection. I haven't added to that one in years, and I've got, I think, 200 or 300 NES games. I'm completely good with that. Super Nintendo, that's another console. I've got a decent size collection. I think of 100 some titles. I don't need any more for that either. Nintendo 64, I was going for a complete North American set. I'm actually only missing 2 titles, but they're both very expensive. So those are 2, if I ever was to find them for a good deal, I'd pick them up. If not, am I going to be upset? Oh no, I didn't get to complete my complete set. Not really. GameCube, for the Nintendo GameCube, I'm pretty happy and satisfied with the collection I have, especially with prices these days. I really don't need any other GameCube titles. Maybe there's 1 or 2 games, but I'm really happy with that. The Wii, I'm really happy with my Wii collection as well. That's not anything I really need to worry about adding to. I pretty much have everything I want for that. Wii U is a collection I would like to keep working on, so that is one you guys will see I'll talk about adding on to that. Game Boy, that's another one. I'm pretty much done with Game Boy. I haven't picked up any new Game Boy games in quite a while, so Game Boy, that set is finished. Game Boy Color, another one, finished for me. I really don't have any Game Boy Color titles I want. Game Boy Advance is another one that I'm pretty much done with. There's not really too many more games for that. I've got quite a few for there. Nintendo DS, I'm pretty much satisfied with the Nintendo DS collection I've built. Got a lot of great titles for that as well. Nintendo 3DS is pretty much done. There's just a couple little games here and there that I want to pick up. It's mostly first-party titles, but majority of that collection is done as well. Let's see, Sega systems now, like Sega Master System. I am completely done with that. I have no more I want to add to that collection. Sega Genesis, I have like 350 games for that console. Like, I don't need any more. I pretty much have everything for that console I'll ever need to play. Sega Saturn, I have a nice little stack of games, but Saturn is so expensive. Plus, so many Sega Saturn games are being destroyed because of disc rot. You know, those CDs were made in the early days of CDs, so they are made with really crappy technology and parts for CDs, and so a lot of those are starting to fail, and like there's just no point in investing money in games that are physically through disc rot going to be ruined. Why buy a $300 game that might not work in 10 years? So I'm really pretty much satisfied with my Sega Saturn collection. Sega Dreamcast, I have a decent sized collection for that. That's another one that it's really hard to find games for these days. And then when you do find them, it's games you already have, sports games, or they're just really expensive. So I'm already done with Dreamcast as well. Game Gear, for the Sega Game Gear, like I've got a decent collection of that. I pretty much have all the titles I ever want to play. Sega CD, I still don't even own a Sega CD. I meant to get one years ago and I never did, so that's one that maybe I'll pick up at some point, maybe I won't, but I only own a couple games for it anyways, and there's really no Sega CD games that I would like to get for the collection. And like, see, all those old games, I also own a modded Wii, so anytime I want to play Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, any of the Game Boy, Sega games, you know, I have a modded Wii that has all those games on there, as long with a bunch of homebrews and hacks and new games that people have created. So for me, I really don't need any of that old stuff because I can easily play it on my modded Wii or on my PC through emulators. So I'm good there. PlayStation 1, I have, I don't remember even what the number is, maybe 400 or 500 games now after I downsized, but I'm good with the PS1. There's really no more titles I want, maybe like one or two stragglers here and there, but I'm done with that. PlayStation 2 was over 1,000 games, and I pared that down to like 600, so I got rid of like 400 games for that. And there's really not too many, maybe one or two stragglers for the PlayStation 2. I'm really happy with that collection. My PSP collection, I'm pretty much done with. Got a lot of games, I think like 150 games for the PSP, which will keep me busy for a long time, so I'm pretty much done with that. PlayStation Vita, I still would like to get a couple games for, but they're just really expensive, and they're really hard to find here locally, so that's one of those, if I find something occasionally, I might pick up for it, but I'm really done with it. Now this year, I do want to finish collecting for my Xbox 360 set. That's one of my biggest goals for this year, is before July, is to get the last handful of titles. I think I have just 10 games left that I absolutely want to have. And then there's some on the list that are just like, it'd be cool to get, but if I don't pick them up, I'm not going to be upset or anything, because the Xbox 360 Marketplace is shutting down at the end of July. So once we get to August, we are going to be done with the Xbox 360 Marketplace. So all that DLC is going to be gone. All those games, digital copies, all are going to be erased. The only ones that are going to hang around are any of them that are still backwards compatible on the Xbox One and Series X. And even that's not a guarantee, because there's a bunch of games on there like that Spec Ops The Line that have got delisted. So as we move along through the years, these older backwards compatible games are going to be delisted because of licensing issues, because it costs money for the companies, Microsoft and them and anyone else, to keep paying the license for the music or the stories, whatever it is. You know, they don't want to keep paying for these old games because statistically, a lot of people don't actually take advantage of the backwards compatibility like I do. I know there's some of us that love it, like myself, where I've been on a hell of a kick, and you guys have been seeing that in my weekly Sorry guys, heartburn here. Weekly gaming playlist series of me playing a lot of backwards compatible games, but not a lot of people are into that. So eventually, these games are going to be gone, and that's why I've got stuff like, and I love, like these Xbox 360 copies here, the Dragon Age Ultimate Edition, which comes with all the DLC on a bonus disc that you can install. So when that marketplace is gone and all this content is gone, all I have to do is pop in this disc and I can install it in my console and still enjoy it. And any of these games, you can pretty much plug in and just play in your console and not really have to worry about updates or anything. I'm also going to be going through my library of my favorite games, not every game obviously, because when you have almost 700 360 games, I'm not buying DLC from all, but I'm going to go through my favorite games and be like, okay, the Fallout ones, yep, I got the disc that has all the DLC. Okay, I got my Dragon Age, yep, got all the DLC. Go through some of my racing games. Do I have all the DLC? Oh no, I'm missing a pack here or there. Okay. Also going through and looking for any of those digital-only titles, the arcade ones, like I got that Call of Duty Classics, which I love, which was a digital-only title. So I'm going to go through there this year and download and buy the last of the DLC that I need for my Xbox 360 and those digital titles. So that's a big plan there, too, to get done this year so that I can then just pretty much be done with collecting. Now, there's going to be still some modern stuff that I want to get, obviously, like can't wait to get the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 that comes out in September this year for the Series X. Looking forward to getting that. And a couple games, for Xbox One, Series X. Still, there's a few games for PlayStation 3 I would like to get, but I'm going to put those off until after August because there's no point in getting PS3 games when I want to get the 360 games first. The marketplace for PS3 is not shutting down yet. And I do say yet because I know eventually it's going to happen. So once they make an announcement about that, then I could start maybe focusing on getting those last couple PS3 games I want to get. PS4, there's some of those I still would like to get. But if I don't get them, it's not going to be the end of the world for me personally, so I'm okay with that. And then I've still been building up my my Nintendo Switch collection, getting some great games for the Nintendo Switch, which I love that console. I still have a lot of games to play for it. So there's still some of those first-party games and some third-party ones I want to get for the Switch. But for the bulk of my collecting, I'm really going to be done with it overall because, like I said, I just don't want to collect forever, just endlessly collecting until the day I die. So I really don't want to be doing that. And I really want to start focusing more and more on the collection I already have, playing and enjoying it. So that gets me to my third one, is the selling off and trading off of unwanted games. Like, I already have a box of where I got rid of like 1,000 some games for my collection, and it was all, sports games that were games I'm never gonna play, kiddie games, your Barbies and Rugrats and stuff. Just doubles, I was finding all these doubles I had of games, 2 or 3 copies of. Going through my collections, like I have PS2, GameCube, and original Xbox. Like, did I need 3 copies of the same game? Like Dead to Rights, do I need it on every console? Do I need the Lego Star Wars on every console? That kind of thing. And I was like, okay, which version do I want to keep best? So I like the original Xbox because it's the complete set. So I'm going to keep the Xbox version. But do I need the PS2 version of it? No, I don't. So I was getting rid of that kind of stuff as well. And then I still will need to go through more of the collection just to do a quick double check and finally just make sure, do I like this game? Yes. No. And then decide if I don't like games to get rid of the ones I don't really enjoy playing anymore and just keep paring down the collection to just the ones that I really love. Now for strategy guides, like as that goes, I don't own any strategy guide that I don't want to use for a game. So my strategy guide collection is massive, but they're all games and books that I either have used or I'm planning to use, so I don't need to get rid of anything with that. So it's not a whole lot really actually left to get rid of after that big purge of mine. But I will go through and then just check just to make sure, is there something I don't enjoy that I missed maybe, or maybe I end up having an extra copy or something. Stuff like that. I own all my backup consoles, except for I would like to eventually get another Series X down the road, but that's not something I really need to rush about getting now, but just would like to get a backup one of those. But otherwise, I got plenty of PlayStation 4s, plenty of 360s, Nintendo 64s, all the consoles I collect for. I have a couple backups for each of them, so I'm set for that. Next thing is about preserving my collection. So this is another thing I really need to work on, is I want to start going through and continuing my work on cleaning the consoles I currently have, you know, opening them up and dusting them out. Now what I have a great shop vac, this big yellow one that I found at a thrift store for like $8 several years ago. Well, what's really neat about this thing is on the back, there's a little hose. You can take the hose from the front off that sucks stuff in. You can put it on the back and it turns into a blower, so it blows out a lot of air. And I use that to dust out my computers. Well, I've also done it to some of my consoles, like open up my PlayStation 4 and the fan's all full of dust. I can take that outside and just blow all the dust out of it and go through and clean them as well. I went through my original Xbox consoles and I took out the clock capacitors of the ones that needed it and, you know, cleaned them out. There's some that I need to repair that I have, like there's a couple PlayStation 2s I'd like to repair. I also want to go through and find if there's any broken consoles of mine that I don't want to repair. I'll sell them off for parts for people who enjoy repairing those. I do have a couple Game Gears that I'm going to have a buddy recap because the caps in those go bad and so the screens get messed up and they don't work anymore. So I want to make sure I start going through and preserving my collection so I can make sure that I can play them and enjoy them for years to come. I also need to go through and start removing stickers from some of the games I have, and I gotta order some more of this stuff, but this stuff is like a miracle, and I got this idea from my buddy Dean, so thank you so much for this, Dean, is Bestine Rubber Cement Thinner. This stuff removes stickers from game cases, magazines, and even the cover art when GameStop puts those stupid stickers right there on the spine. I even have a video on my channel if you guys want to check it out, of how I remove stickers. And I can get those stickers off with this Bestine, but I got to get some more of this stuff. And it can be kind of hard to find. You get it at like arts and crafts supply centers and stuff. But usually I just have ordered on Amazon or eBay. And so this bottle here I've had for several years, and I pretty much, you can barely hear, there's barely any liquid in there. So I need to get some more of that, as I do have some games. I was actually working on some the other day. I got rid of like 10 more games and got all the nasty stickers off some old PS2 games that I have here. And just wanted to make them look nice and new. I also would like to get some replacement cases as well for some of the games in my collection, like PS1. I got a bunch of those jewel cases that have broke over the years, and they're all dingy and dirty. So I want to take some time to buy replacement cases for those so I can make the collection look really nice and pristine, and then replace some for like PS2 and Wii and Xbox. You know, there's just a few in there I need to go through, and just want to have like the best of the best for those cases and throw out all the junky and trashy and shitty stuff. I also need to make sure, especially with 360, that I want to go through and back up all my save files for my 360. I've also been backing up some of my most important original Xbox games because I do have Xbox Arcade or Xbox memory cards, and some of my absolute favorite save files that I would be devastated if I lost. I want to back those up. I've also heard of that you can hook up your... There's ways to hook up your original Xbox to your computer and back up the hard drive, because I would love to back that up. There is some modern solutions for PlayStation 1 and 2. These memory, they're like 40 or 50 bucks. These new modern memory cards where they have SD cards. So what I would love to do is I want to take, because I've got like 50 PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 memory cards with just years and years worth of my save files that I have played over the years, and I want to make sure those are backed up. So I would love to plug those into that SD card and make a backup of every memory card, because you can have a couple hundred memory cards for PS2 and thousands of memory cards on there for PS1. So I'd like to get 2 of those memory cards, and I'm going to back up all my PlayStation save files onto there. PlayStation 3, I know you can transfer to like a USB drive, so I want to back up all my PS3 saves as well. And like I said, back up my 360 saves onto the different consoles I have and their hard drives, because I want to make sure that I preserve all these save files. GameCube as well, I know there's some modern solutions for that as well, so I'd like to back up all my save files, because you know, there's some of these games I haven't played in a long time, but I beat the game, or I unlocked progress from when I was a kid. You know, I want to save those memories. So I'm going to make sure that I back up all my save files so I don't lose those. So definitely preserving my save files is a big one. And then just wanted to talk about how I just want to start playing more of the games in my collection, because that's the whole reason why I started collecting and playing, is I started out as a gamer, not a collector. I was a gamer, as a kid, just consuming all these different games and genres. I've played so many wonderful titles over the years, and I want to keep doing that. And that's why I created that goal in 2019 of just playing and enjoying more games in my collection. And so that's what I plan to do, is just keep my focus on playing games, playing experiences like Shadows of the Damned that you guys have seen in my recent weekly gaming playlist videos. This was a title I missed out on back in the day, and people have told me you gotta play, and I kept putting it off until this year, and it's like, man, wish I would have played this years ago when it first came out, because this game is awesome and I love it. And so there's so many wonderful experiences that I've had over the years, and I just can't wait to experience some of these other ones that I missed out. I also was playing Lego Star Wars 3 more finally. It's just been an amazing experience. There's just been so many wonderful games over the years that I've missed out on that I would love to keep playing. And so I've been doing well with that goal, but I want to make sure that I focus even more on that playing goal for the rest of my life. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be doing nothing but gaming. Obviously, I want to do some other stuff with life, but I do want to make sure I devote time to actually playing these games. I took the time to build up this wonderful collection over the years, so it's time to start enjoying it. And I encourage you as well, make sure you set enough time aside to play your games. Don't just get so sucked up into this void of buy, collect, build. Oh, it's great on the shelf. Play and enjoy your collection. That's why we collect it. It's not just to be seen there. They're meant to be played. So make sure you play them, because you're missing out on so many wonderful experiences. Obviously, we all have our own, points that we're at in life, whether we have kids or not, and we're married or not, and where we are in life, and our own time can be limited, especially as we're older. But, make sure you stop and smell the roses sometimes. Enjoy some of these games. Don't let it pass you up. Don't wait till it's too late to play games, because you'll end up missing out and not have enough time to play them all. Make sure you have time to play some of those games in your collection. So that's what I really want to do. But overall, I am very satisfied with the collection that I have built. It has been an amazing journey over the last 30-something years of me gaming. 35 years of gaming now, since I was 4 years old. I'm almost 40 now, so it's just been an amazing journey. And I want to just thank you guys so much for sharing the journey with me, especially with this YouTube channel. I got over 200 pickup videos on here, over 200 videos in my weekly gaming playlist series. So some of you have been with me since the very beginning. You guys have seen my collection, what it was like at the beginning of this channel, to where we're at now here in 2024, and how it's just gone up, and I've condensed it down, but it has built up into a massive collection. I do plan to film a new room tour video for you guys this year. I have had a lot of people asking me for a new one, because it's been a while, so I will be filming that this year, so pay attention to that. And I do have a lot more discussion vlogs. I also want to start talking about some of my favorite games in a new series called Sleepy's Essentials, where I'm going to talk about like 2 or 3 games for a console and different episodes, and show gameplay and talk about my favorite games and why you guys should check them out. So be on the lookout for that series as well. I also will continue with these discussion vlogs as you guys enjoy them, and I enjoy filming them. Love interacting with you guys, reading your wonderful comments. And so I have still several more ideas for videos that I want to get uploaded this year and through the next several years, because I love interacting with you guys. You guys are awesome. Love talking about gaming, and this is the whole reason why I have this channel, is to share my passion for gaming collecting with you guys. And I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. Like I said, I got several more of them planned as well. But for me overall, I am pretty much almost to the end of my collecting journey, and I think it's awesome. I can't wait to just be done with it and not really worrying about buying games anymore, and be done with like the modern gaming and just focus on playing games. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, on this topic. Are you guys getting close to the end of your collecting, or maybe you're just brand new starting out? So, obviously if you're like 20 something and you're just getting into collecting now, obviously I'm not going to expect you to want to be done. But if you're getting to my age, 40s, or maybe you're in your 50s, are you done with collecting yourself? Have you built up the collection that you want? Are you looking to maybe pare it down and just focus on what you already have and start playing more? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this topic as well. Feel free to leave a wonderful comment, or if you guys want to film a video response talking about your thoughts on this subject, feel free. Would love to check it out. You guys do film great video responses. I just asked if you do, let me know. I'll check it out. I'll post a link to your video response as a comment so other people can check it out as well. Alright guys, thanks again so much for the support. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you guys in the comments here. Look forward to seeing you guys in my other videos coming up in the future. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day and sleep, and we'll see you guys next time.